Welcome back to the Voice of Metal, where we talk about all things metal and hopefully some artists here after a while. With the channel growing, which I do appreciate each and everybody that likes and subscribes to the channel, which actually makes it all possible. That means so much to me because, like I said, I'm doing my best to make sure that one, we keep going with it, two, we accomplish a goal that I set forth to hopefully get to the point where I have a big enough audience that way some artists will actually want to come and watch the stream. Well, I said they'll watch the stream, they'll see that, there's a large audience and they'll actually want to come and be interviewed. So we'll see. Plus, I think I've got a couple of people that I've been kind of semi talking to, but nothing concrete yet. Plus, I also got to set up the whole how to get the interview thing going online through Skype or through one of the other mediums to, do an interview with. So we'll see what happens. But right now, you know, I said right now we're going to start with a list of some of those songs that I've recently listened to this summer. Um, these are not really a top 20 list. It's more of a less of a list of maybe a few random songs in a playlist that actually exceeds 20 songs. I might go over that 20 because there's so many that I really love and enjoy. Some of them I've just recently listened to, and some I don't know as well as others. I've only listened to them maybe a handful of times. But with YouTube Music, it kind of gives you a breakdown of what you've listened to. So this is stuff that I've been listening to this summer, um, over this time that I've been broadcasting and streaming and stuff like that. So that way you guys know what I've listened to and what I've enjoyed. And sometimes it's usually stuff that when I say play music, it just randomly picks stuff. So it's kind of based on my taste. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you some of those songs. And I've also made a playlist of these songs as well. So I will make sure that I don't forget to add that this time. So that way all you guys can enjoy this. And really, actually, this list is really for those people that, one, I've talked to that maybe like certain mainstream metal bands that don't know a lot of the other bands out there that are really good. They're not quite as big as, like, say, Metallica, Pantera. Um, I'm trying to think of some of the other, Slipknot, but the ones that are not as well known. And the reason why I'm doing this is not only to share that with you guys, because you guys might not know these bands. And I think it's very important to share this with people because you might find something new you might really enjoy. You never know. Or you might really hate. It depends on you, right? But most of these are ones I feel are really good. But don't take my word for it. Listen to them. Listen to them for yourself, okay? I appreciate it. And I do appreciate all the viewers that have come on live. I still miss all you guys, so please come back. I know this is late. It's like 11. So I was trying to get this done earlier. It seems like I always have something going on earlier in the day, so I apologize. Anyway, let's get started. Refuse Resist is a cover song of Sepultura, but this one was done by Hatebreed. So that was one of the first songs on there that I have. There is one actually I'm going to take off the list because it's from Prong, and I like Prong, but I'm not like super fans of theirs. And like I said before, this is not a top 20 list of my favorite tunes. This is more just stuff I've listened to that I do enjoy, or some of it I've listened to, and sometimes I'm gonna, but anyway, and some of them are well known and some are not well known. Cancer Culture from Decapitated. Now this band, I think right now, I don't really know how long the band's been around for, because I just recently, within the last year or so, started listening to them, and I've really loved their music. They've done songs with Ginger. They've done songs with Machine Head, which are both really good bands. So between those three bands, you definitely got to check them out. And the album they have, the recent release, that's on my playlist, the Cancer Culture. You need to check out some of the other tracks on that album because they are phenomenal, and they have those other two bands on there. And personally, those are two of the bands that I really like listening to. Um, Nothing left from As I Lay Dying. Now, this is rather interesting. This one, I think I'm pretty positive I might be able to get an interview with somebody in this band because I know somebody in my family that actually used to work across the street from every single one of the guys in this band or the people in this band. They were in, I think, Toledo, Ohio, I believe, and they were working at a restaurant, fast food restaurant, Arby's or Hardee's. I forgot exactly the whole thing. I think one's Burger King, one's Hardee's. I'm not sure who was where, but anyway, my family member said that oh yeah, I still talk to him. I was like, oh okay, well that'd be cool. Maybe I get to have him say, hey, help my family member out, my cousin. I guess he's my cousin. I don't know. It's my cousin's son is what it is. But anyway, let's go back to the next the list and go back to the next one. Um, Awake. Oh, Wake Up Dead from Dave was featuring Dave Mustaine with Lamb of God and Megadeth. Now this is one I know is not as well known. This is more of a more well known bands, but is definitely a good song. It's a classic old song that both Megadeth and Lamb of God rehashed out and sounds phenomenal. Um, One of my favorites. I couldn't imagine any other person as far as a band than Lamb of God with Megadeth for this song. It sounds really cool. It sounds really heavy. It sounds really good. It just got just enough, kind of heavier tone to it compared to the original. It makes it really cool. Um, oh, My Will Be Done from Unearthed. This is a really good song. I love it a lot. Um, I been a while since I think I've heard this one because I haven't played it recently because I've gotten some other songs going on. So it's been a while since I've heard it, but I definitely remember it's really good. Rage from and Mother. I can't say the other word. Mother Effery. How about that? You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, they're both from Flossom and Jetsam. This is one of those bands that is not as well known, and a good friend of mine and coworker told me about them, and I have absolutely fallen in love with a lot of their music and quite a few other bands like Obituary, which is another band that's not as well known that's phenomenal. So for those out there, especially the people that I met in Texas that hopefully are still following the channel, I hope, because I got to talk to a lady that was there. She was really nice, really sweet, and her friend. Um, these are those bands that I was kind of talking about, and I figured this is a good way to share that with them and anybody else that maybe subscribes to the channel later, because they're looking for a Slipknot video or something else, or even Pantera, because they might say, hey, I saw your Pantera little blurb, on my shorts, and I'll check out the channel. That's for them, because you might not know these bands. But anyway, going back to the list, In Times of War from Dying Fetus. Actually, as far as music goes, they are very heavy. So if you're not into real heavy music, this may not be for you, but you never know. You might actually enjoy it. Dying Fetus has got some really interesting music, and they're close enough to being so heavy that you just almost don't understand what they're saying. Sometimes I try to listen to bands that are a little bit more, they're super heavy like Obituary, but not enough to where you can't understand most of the words. There are some other bands I listen to that are kind of like not like that. But anyway, now this is one of my all-time. I think this is like one of my coolest new discoveries for me. I don't know about you guys because some people out there might know who they are. They might have been around for a while. I still don't know. I haven't researched some of the, how long these bands have been around. So I apologize if I don't know that. Scar of the Martyr, Blood Host. This is a really good song. I love this song a lot. It means I can jam out to it really well. It's just it's got this sound to it. It's like kind of reminds me of some of the stuff from Sepultura, is the way they kind of structure their songs and stuff like that, where they have this kind of like heavy, but then they have a good melody to it. And Machine Head does the exact same thing. Those are the kinds of bands I think really do well. That are usually the ones that really make it big. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the hard and fast rule. But for me personally, that's the stuff that I remember and it grabs my attention. Because usually my rule of thumb is I'm sitting there and I'm listening to a playlist and I don't know any of the bands or anything on there. I'm just kind of discovering stuff. I think for me, if I'm sitting there or listening or doing something like working or whatever, and I'm like doing dishes or whatever, I'm listening to this music, and it's like all of a sudden, okay, what in the world is this? This has got my attention. That's the kind of music that, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Bow Down to the Clowns from Onslaught. This is actually really good. It's definitely different. It's kind of got a unique sound to it. It's not quite the same as some of the other songs that I have on my list, but it's definitely got a really great melody to it, I think. Because, like I said, these are really cool songs. So, yeah, not all of my I remember completely, so I apologize. Melting of My Marrow. Killer Killer Be Killed. See, this is a song that I listened to, but I didn't know the name of the title. I didn't know the name of the group. I mean, when I was listening to it, so it just started playing, and I liked it. I think I put on my playlist so I wouldn't forget. Because sometimes I'll do that. As if I hear something interesting, I'll hit like, so that way I go, oh, I gotta go check this guy. Check them out a little deeper. Get some of their other albums and see what they sound like in an overall spectrum of their music. Solace, the first fragment. I don't know if I remember this one, to be honest with you. Apparently I did listen to it, so I apparently know what it is. I just don't remember the name. It's like this other one. Oh no, this is Fear Factory, Demanufactured. I think I remember this one a little bit. I'm not sure how many have I done so far. Okay, I'm at 16. I don't have a number, unfortunately, to keep track of it. So, with that, number 17 is Civilized Collapse from Creator. Creator's got some really good stuff. I mean, I've listened to quite a few different things from them. Um, I'm trying to remember, there's one particular, I'm not sure if this is the song that has something to do. I think this is it because Civilization Collapse, I think it talks about society as a whole and how we are being told to listen to them and not what we want to believe, I guess is what it is. It's kind of like, don't listen to anything else. Just listen to us. We will guide you and steer you in the direction we want you to go, kind of attitude. Uh, Murderer's Row, Power Trip. This one I can't know if I remember as well as some of the other ones, unfortunately, but I'm sure I've listened to it more than once. Um, and I'm sure it's really good because, I'm just that good, right? Anyway, American Way. Now, this one, by far, I know for a fact that if you don't listen to this one and the other one that Sacred Reich has out, you're missing a really good music. it's not so much the music as it is the message behind the music, because they're pretty adamant about steering people the right direction. It's kind of like the other song that I was talking about, Civilization Collapsed. They talk about a lot of stuff with, society and things in life and stuff that aren't quite the way it should be. Because the American way is like how we do things in America, where we basically, try to make a profit, this, that, and the other. And I'm getting at it's corporate greed kind of stuff, is what it is. It's like to who's to blame is another one of theirs, where they talk about music being the positive and the parents being the negative because they're not paying attention to what their kids are doing. It's not so much what they choose in music as it is paying attention to them and what they're getting themselves into to a point, um, by what they say, what they do. If you beat somebody down, are they really going to be there the way they should be? Because if you say they're this, that, or that, they're worthless, pathetic, or whatever, kind of a loser type, they're not going to respond well to that, and they might end up doing something drastic, suicide. This is now from Hatebreed. This is definitely a very good song. I think that's 18 or 19. I don't remember. We'll just keep going on for a few and then we'll stop. This is now basically it's about controlling your destiny. It's about, your life. And in order to accomplish the goals you want, this is my past does not equal the future kind of thing, where, don't let that past bring you down, because, you can manage this, you can survive this. And really, this song, I think, out of all the other songs I've heard lately, is like one of the most interesting, most positive speaking messages out there, for just to bring people's spirits up, I guess, and empower them a little bit to be a better, uh, reach your goals, I guess you could say. Um, Hellhounds. Hellhounds is really good, from King A10. Now, this is a band that I still am not very clear on what type or style of metal or slash rock or slash rap it is, because he does do a thing called Yavid, which is actually kind of more rapish, but he also has the band King 810, which 810 is the zip code or area code for Flint, Michigan, where he's from. And King is, I guess, because he thinks he's the king, right? But that's the whole motto. The motto is like he has a king logo and stuff like that, which is really cool. And it's just a nice, simple, plain black and white design with a really cool K. But Hellhounds is one of those things. You have to listen to it to really fully understand. I think it's rather interesting. War is coming from 6 feet under. I think I remember this one really well, but I'm not certain on that. Oh, and I don't know from Sacred Right. That's another one that's on my list. Pretty cool stuff. It's pretty awesome. Check it out. It's pretty much from the same album. And if you've never seen them play live, you need to check them out. They're really good. Pretty much all the bands I've listened to are really good, but it is what it is. Except for Nine Eyes Kills, I'm not too much of a fan of Nine Eyes Kills, but that doesn't mean that you can't, okay? Because they got a good sound. It's not saying, like I said to somebody at the concert that I went to, so they're not awful, but they're just not made my taste. I don't know. Who knows? Thrasher, the song from Evil. I think I remember this one, but it's not as well ingrained in my brain, so to speak. So kind of like some of the other ones. Looking Down the Barrel of Today from Hatebreed. This is definitely a really good song. This is one of those things that somebody told them they weren't worth a bullet. In other words, their life was pretty much pathetic. It kind of reminds me of Who's to Blame, the song. That no matter what somebody else tells you, that I am not worthless. I am powerful. I am a being of a positive, basically, I'm determined I'm going to do and accomplish great things in my life. And that's pretty much what the song's about. And he says basically, I said, my finger's on the trigger and I'm going to pull it kind of thing. Basically, what is like, I'm going to basically shoot the gun. It's not killing anybody, but shooting a gun to accelerate or to excel in what somebody told me I was worthless, basically. At least that's my metaphoric explanation of the song. Um, Now this is one I don't know as well. I don't remember. It's a Slipknot song, as is what it says, but this is definitely not one of their original songs from all their other albums, and I don't even know where, how I found this. It's called Hate in Blue. So I might have to check and see if there's any more songs from this, if there's an album, because this might have been pre the very first per se album of the original Slipknot that I remember with Corey Taylor. So maybe this is something they did before Corey Taylor was in the band, or maybe it was something else. I don't know. Or it could have been before they released. It could be an EP, like a single or whatever that they did just to kind of get people interested in them. It's hard to say. And I do remember it being really good. Black Thrash. Oh, Black Thrash Attack from Aura Nora. So this one, like I said, I don't know as well, but still a really good song from what I know. There's a couple of them on here from Devil Driver. I like Devil Driver, but I'm not like, wow, kind of thing. I'm not like super, wow, kind of like that. Oh, here's one. We all know this one, Slayer, Mandatory Suicide. Very good song. If you'd never heard it, check it out. Anyway, I will hopefully end this very shortly, because I don't want to keep it too long for all you guys out there. And I do appreciate each and every one of you, like I said, liking and subscribing, following the channel, maybe even giving me some feedback. I love the messages you guys send me. I appreciate it. I try to answer each and every one of those. I might not always get to it right away, but I'll